Here with Northwestern State head baseball coach Chris Bertrand as the Demons getting ready to play 4 games in 5 days, starting with a Tuesday matchup against LSUA, then 3 against Lamar in the Easter weekend series. And Coach, let's start with LSUA. You're going to get back at home. I know, first of all, you'll carry some momentum from Sunday night in or Sunday afternoon in. Always a good thing to get home where you guys have been really good, but also coming with that momentum, something to build off from Sunday.
Yeah, excited about all of those things along with the opportunity that Tuesday night is going to bring. The opportunity to play against, again, someone we respect the heck out of in Cody Gotro and the job that he has done to play against a good baseball team, a good team that's going to challenge us in a multitude of ways. And we've got to be ready to play. To get back in front of our fans is always a great thing. But to have an opportunity to continue to work on the demons, right? If there's anything that the game teaches us and really has done a great job of teaching us in the last, call it month or so, is that on those hot streaks, you get to recognize that how lucky we are and how fortunate we are to be able to put ourselves in the position we put ourselves in when we were playing so well and up against great teams and winning 5 series in a row. All of the great things that came with playing quality baseball versus last week, all of the things that came with a little bit of a 4-game skid, right? What happens on the other end of that when the game humbles you? And so for us, another opportunity to work on ourselves, right? We have to learn and recognize what was good and what was positive and put that into action. We have to learn and recognize what was moments of failure or of not being the best version of ourselves, and how do we learn from that and then allow that to help us grow, to help us get better. And so another opportunity to work on yourselves in front of your fans against someone we respect so much. Really looking forward to it.
You've seen some guys, not just as a team, but I mean, obviously in a 55-game season, there are highs and lows for everybody. And we've seen some guys get red hot. We've seen some guys go through some valleys. It's always good to see them come out on the other side. And I think Braden Benton has been one of those guys who's kind of ridden the roller coaster, and now he seems to be back on the upswing. And don't think his personality changed one bit in that time.
Not a single bit. And what a great lesson for all of us, Braden and all of the other guys that have gone through that, to show that, what we're truly in search of is consistency, right? And that when the game physically is not necessarily giving back to you or loving on you, or you feel like maybe it's not rewarding you in the way that you had hoped for, how can you remain within the characteristics that we talk about, the values that we're based upon, the pillars that we're based upon? Are you mentally tough? Do you establish or do you exhibit some grit? Do you exhibit some resiliency, right? All of the things that we say that we want to be about, that we say Demon Baseball is built upon, guys like Braden are able to call upon those characteristics when the game and the physical part of it is not where it needs to be. And that's what allows you to be consistent. Can we learn that? And it's going to help us not only in game 38, 39 through 50 games in the season, but it's going to allow us to be better at life, right? We mentioned the other day, especially when he had the big moments against RGV, that we thought Braden was somebody who was grinding through life, right? He was grinding through at-bats, but he was grinding through life. We still hold that thought today about him and about so many of our other guys. We take a lot of pride in the fact that we hope that the values and the messages and the things that we're trying to impart upon our players are those messages landing. And in the case of Braden and so many other guys, we feel like they are. And their time with Demon Baseball, regardless of what the scoreboard says, is paying dividends in life. And we think that in the long run, right, and hopefully at the tail end of this season, that we're going to be rewarded for being of service to the game in that way.
Well, you talk about messages landing. There's a flock of Cardinals that will land here bus wild. They won't fly in from Beaumont that we know of, but Will Davis and his Cardinals come in, and they've been on one of those streaks you talked about. They've been on a real heater lately. And again, it's kind of where you are within the season, within this league, that the top 5 to 6 teams, 6 to 7 maybe, any given weekend, anything can change greatly in the standings, and they're one of those teams.
Absolutely. And so we have to take all of the things that we mentioned about what we've learned, what we are going to learn Tuesday night, and we have to bring that into the weekend series. Once again, the amount of respect that we have for Will and for the team that he's going to bring, right? And in the last 2 years, they've kind of been the cream of the crop, right? They've been at the top of the league the season that they had last year and everything that they were able to accomplish. It's obvious that what they do is a successful path. It's obvious that what they're teaching and the way in which they're playing the game, man, we have to be ready and we have to pay the right amount of respect towards it, and we do. How can we take everything that we mentioned in the way that let's work on ourselves first. Let's work on the demons. Let's work on us. Let's become the best version of ourselves, play our brand of baseball, go back to doing winning things, complimentary baseball. We need to take that approach first, right, while paying respect to the opponent. But we have to recognize that our success in many ways is our ability to be consistent and to be complimentary and to play the brand of baseball that makes us the strongest and the most united, right? We need to be, 40 on Lamar. Like, that's what we need to be. And I think that our guys are ready for that and willing to take that on. Let's go put that into use on Tuesday, and then let's welcome Will and his team with respect, but with that mindset.
Speaking of that, we've talked about growth. You talked about growth the whole time, and we'll talk about starting pitching, 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10 being incredibly important, it is. But your bullpen has several young guys that have really emerged throughout the year. Carter White's been there all year, and Jacob LeBlanc's had his moments. Now it's been Wesley Mary in the last few weeks, and obviously what he did Sunday. But seeing those guys grow and the work that Dan has done with them has just made this a much deeper unit.
That's right. And so what it means for baseball is becoming evident, but what it means for the growth of our program and the direction that we're headed, we couldn't be any more proud. The amount of love and pride that I have for Dan and the way in which he goes about his work and the way in which he leads his unit, I'm so happy for the way in which they are having success right now because we're seeing fruits of that labor. And for those individuals, especially the young individuals, it means that we're on the right path in roster construction. It means that it's okay to have a belief in those young kids and those high school kids, and that those guys are more than capable of having success. It's a tribute to the work that they put in and the way that they've led Dan and Joe and Dawson, the way that they've let them into their hearts and their minds, and the way they've let them in helping establish that growth, right? It means that the Demon bullpen or the Demon pitching staff or the Demon baseball program is in good hands for the future. We're never going to look past tomorrow night or never going to look past this week in what is important, but it means that we're headed in the right path, right? And that we've got a plan for how we're going to construct things. And so, man, I'm proud of the all-encompassing nature and the all-encompassing messages that it sends when you have those young guys have success. And it's not only the bullpen, but guys like Hudson Brignac, right? Young players that are coming into Demon baseball and learning from Clay and Reese and Rocco how to pour yourself into it, and that if you pour yourself into the game and you're of service to the game and to the program, that the game will reward you back. What a better way of not only seeing success on the field, but of leaving your mark in the way in which we're trying to build and the direction that Demon baseball is headed.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time.
Parkham Demons.